All right, we're about to go do some rock mining. Now, before you forget, make sure to rent your ship. Make sure to rent a Pembroke helmet. You could buy other stuff depending on whether or not you like to do it in the sun or in the shade on Aberdeen, but you know, this is what I would recommend. And the Pembroke armor is somewhere. Oh, it's in an undersuit. That's right. All right, we're just gonna buy one of each, just to show you the investment cost for doing this mission is about 55k, just to get off the ground and go do some rock mining. So keep that in mind if you are thinking about getting into rock mining as a way to make some money. Now, once you bought everything yourself, it's it's really not that expensive. Or I think a rock is like 70k. You can buy a Cutlass Black for just over $1 million. You can buy a Nomad for under $1 million. I recommend the Nomad. We're gonna be using a Cuttie Black just because that's what you can rent. But Nomad is what I would recommend. Other people like the Freelancer. I don't. I mean, other than the fact that it reminds me of Firefly. I mean, what? But other than that, it just it's clunkier than the Nomad. Way bigger. Does carry more stuff. So if you want to like have it do other things for you, then keep that in mind. So you're gonna retrieve your Cuttie Black. You're gonna don your beautiful apparel. Go ahead and slap that on right now. So the reason you need to wear the Pembroke is because temperatures are really hot, and when you're at the rock, it gives you no environmental protection. It's kind of annoying. You'd think they'd like slap like an AC unit on the rock, but apparently not. So you do want to try to avoid dying. Just because the armor itself is like 15k, so. I love watching videos of people like sneaking onto other people's ships. I don't know why, it just gives me such joy. Okay, we don't care about MFDs or anything with this, so we're just gonna power on. Weapons are kind of irrelevant. You are clear to launch. And we're just gonna try to go over to Aberdeen, and you just want to find one of the HDMS stations, not the ES. Anderson, Norgard. Ignore these two. Oh, is there just Anderson and Norgard now? I thought there was another two stations, but we'll just pick Norgard this time. Oops, wrong one. Just trying to close all my doors.
Thank you, and please visit again.
Gotta love when it does this. Go to where you are now. Yeah, thanks for that, bro. Really appreciated. Top notch. Not sure why it's like forcing me. Let's see if we just take it to Hurston if it lets us go. There we go. This is why if I run a prospector, by the way, I just go ahead and slap on the VK00 quant drive, just because I tire of having to jump the 1.3 million clicks. with a slow drive, but you know, it's not an interminable amount of wait here. It's getting a little condensation in the corners. Pembroke is not my favorite. I do love like how giant your hands are on the throttle and the stick though with this bad boy. Okay, so first things first, we got to get to Aberdeen. We got to land at a mining. We got to land at a mining location. And then once we do that, yeah, that's just Hurston. Ita. Aberdeen. I swore there used to be another mining colony on Aberdeen, but perhaps not. I just look for one in the sun. Go for Norgard since it seems to be like right in the juicy middle. And my goal with this video series is to show you guys how to quickly make money and to give you kind of like fungible numbers and then multiply those across a period of an hour. So we're probably just gonna mine just a couple of locations. I'll start the timing right as soon as we take off. You gotta, I mean, I don't love the Cuttie Black, but I love the sounds of the Cuttie Black. When you're flying a Cuttie Black, you feel like you're flying a spaceship. I'll just put it that way. Alright, we don't need any shields. We don't need any weapons. We're gonna dump all this into thrusters. And we just want to try to land in the building closest to the... or land on the pad closest to the building where we retrieve the rock miner. Just save some time. Ba 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 ba. Here's my made-up song. You're welcome. All right, just looking here. I'm guessing the best way to tell is where like the double pads are. So it's right here. It looks like this one wants you to like go off the pads and then come back around over to this one. So that's what we'll do. Drop landing gear. Swap to third person. Get a feel for landing this bad boy. It's honestly been a hot minute since I've flown a Cuttie. Go ahead and open up all the doors. Out of the seat. There's a way to like lock the doors all open. But it doesn't always work for me, so I'm not going to go through the hassle of trying to explain how that works. And you'll note in the bottom left, it is very hot outside in the sun on Aberdeen. Our survival estimate's at over an hour though, so we have plenty of time. And every time you go back into your ship or into a pressurized location, it's going to reset that timer. So you saw we were just like right at 1 hour and 10 minutes. Oh, how beautiful, an M50. All right, you're going to come up with this.
To the aEUC vehicle retrieval system.
You're going to claim your Grey Cat ROC.
Your insurance claim has been sent.
And you can be as impatient as you want to be, since I'm describing what's happening here anyway. I don't mind, other than the fact that it's kicking me off of the panel. Alright, we'll just go ahead and retrieve. Now you can make tweaks to the Grey Cat with the engines and motors and power plants and stuff. The only thing you could possibly do is like pick one that's smaller to not get picked up on radar, but the Cuttie Black's can get picked up, and you don't want to like power cycle it every time you get in and out of it, so picking stealth components probably doesn't make that much of a difference. Now, I will say that driving it is a bit of a trip. Sure to power it all on. Flight system's ready seems to work the best for me. And then it's gonna force you to like use your mouse. Oh shoot. To look. And they can make this thing fly like a hot rod, but you know, they can't make it. They can make it fly like a hot rod, but they can't air condition it. Yeah, this is why I hate doing this in the Cuttie Black, by the way. It is just such a pain to get it just right. But it's not all that bad. Hold Y to get out of it is the best way I've found. You can also just open the door, but leaving it open makes it easy to get in and out of. We got a couple of people, looks like. Looks like another Cuttie Black, just to save ourselves the drama here. We're gonna elevate and we're just gonna fly. I recommend this generally anyway, but especially if you see someone else, just at a minimum so you're not harvesting each other's stuff. Just pop yourself right on up. Go halfway between one and the other. You can't really drop out in Quant, as all of you know, but this will take you within 25 clicks of Anderson, and you can just kind of turn around and go between them. You don't want to get too close to them because they are restricted airspace, and you don't want to get a trespassing fine. So that's basically what we're trying to avoid here. Then you're just going to scan, look for anomalies or resources, however you want to describe that. I have to remember which one is. Man, it's been a hot minute since I have done this. I think it's the little button for me to do scanning. Alright, you can turn up the speed a little bit for this one, but I wouldn't go ham. You can tell by looking at that it's an asteroid. Basically, if you get within, it depends on the ship. For the Cuttie Black, I think it's like you can tell by looking at these that it's a cluster of rocks, which gets me all excited because I'm used to quant mining. Ah, cluster of rocks, nice. I do find that Hadanite is especially more prevalent in the hills. Then I do like to kind of anchor myself. All right, so we're too close to Anderson. We want to look to wherever Norgard is. And then basically just kind of try to go towards Norgard. That way we know we're going away from Anderson. You can also use the compass, but the compass agitates me. I don't have to explain myself. Yeah, you definitely don't want that trespassing charge. That'll really screw you. Alright, we're getting close here. If I was in a prospector, I'd be like utterly gleeful because I know. Alright, I need to remember my stick controls. Too many things open. Okay. Been a while since I've done scanning, so okay. Well, that was fun. Alright, so you want to toggle scanning mode, you can just press S to do that on keyboard. You just get in nice and close. Alright, Dolivine, not worth our time. Alright, then you're just gonna flip back on, recenter yourself. So this is the reason why we kind of have like just a general landmark or objective, is just so you don't retrace your steps unnecessarily. So a lot of time the mined minerals won't show up till you get close anyway. See how this one just popped up at 2,500? That gives me a little bit of hope. It's looking good. It's like a single. Not really worth it to get the singles. You do want to look for like the bigger outcroppings. And even though there are some over to the side of us over there, we are trying to just stay locked on moving in this direction, so there is nothing out here, so let's go out and just check out at least one of these. Let's saw it down. Alright, group of 3. Group of 3 isn't the best. Come on. Now, if I was really practicing this like star streams, then I would just be able to look at it and tell. That guy is a wizard with rock mining, so if you want to get really good at rock mining, go watch his stuff. But I don't want to get really good at any of these particular quests, abilities, whatever. Because I want to give you guys a good sense of, hey, if I'm just starting out in the verse, what's a good way to make money? And being generally, I don't want to say that I suck at it, but oh my gosh. Just being generally novice at it. I was like, there's a reason I always open them. You can lock them open. I'll try and see if that'll work, but basically you just want to open up all the doors. I'll see if that lock works. That way you can get out of here. The Cuttie Black also burns a ridiculous amount of hydrogen. You'll notice that we're almost at like a quarter burnt. Come on, hop in. I'm just gonna activate mining. You do have to use your mouse if you're using joysticks for this. It's very agitating and incredibly annoying, and it is how the game works, so I guess deal with it is how the developers feel about it. I don't know. And sometimes just doesn't want to work. Alright, we're just gonna watch that optimal window on the right side. I usually just crank this to 100 until it gets close, back off, I think to around 70. It's been a hot minute since I've done this, so let's do a little bit of trial and error. Could in theory like do the math on it to know like, oh okay, that's the hot sweet spot depending on the resistance and the mass of the rock. I don't have the patience to do that mental calculation every time I crack into one, so it's really kind of a get your feel for it and then make a decision. Everybody does this their own way. My personal preference is to just crack them all open and then suck them all up. I want to find that sweet spot where it's no longer climbing, but it's not dropping. One big benefit of rock mining over, let's say, quant mining, really any kind of prospector mining, if we're honest, is the effective range is really easy to get. The rocks are quite a bit more stable. It's very easy to suck them up. You get nothing but the refined ore, and the profitability is pretty comparable, to be honest. The tricky thing about rock mining is getting the rock in and out of your ship. You can master that, you'll be a rich man or woman or non-gendered alien being. Alright. Okay, we're getting a little bit of lag, so that's a bad sign for the server, but you do want to keep constant pressure on the rocks. There he goes. Sometimes it's just a little slow. Just be patient. And you kind of just want to park the laser and hold it still. If you move it around a lot, they'll overshoot. The tedium of getting these just right will also drive you to quant mining, though. Usually for a big group like this one over to the right, you just kind of plop it down in the middle. Let it go for a minute. Sometimes they'll knock into each other, which is annoying, but we'll say there does come a point where like trying to hunt these down becomes not worth the like 100 aEUC that you get from actually getting it. It's especially when it has transported itself into the ethosphere. Okay, the Cuttie block is very particular. It often is easier to retract your mining arm, or at least. So go ahead and switch off. You can do it. Alright, we're not jumping into quantum, so all the doors should stay open. And the gray cat doesn't move at all, by the way. Like, that's what makes the nomad work, because it just stays put. The mass is big enough that it just doesn't fall out. Even if you go upside down, which is handy, though not entirely accurate. Alright, we're just gonna recenter ourselves here. Looking for not Henderson, but Norgard. Right. Although we don't see anything over this way, I kind of just want to get away from everything we've already scanned. Your mileage may vary, as they say. Okay, ones that pop up when you're less than 2,000 meters away are usually a good sign. We're getting bad luck today in terms of quantity, though. All right. Though the locations are pretty good. Just going forward. Want to make sure that ramp doesn't get propped up too high. If it's off the ground, you can still often get the rock back inside, but you do risk knocking the ship up and forever out of your grasp. And you can sometimes bribe someone in the verse to come pick you up, but that can be a fraud activity. In terms of accelerating, a little bit goes a long way with the rock. And you can see your cargo hold on the left side. Each rock is usually about 3 SCU, or CSCU I should say. Come on. Mining is not a thing to do when the servers are laggy, by the way, because you need instant responsiveness to keep it in the green zone, and you want to know if it's ducking into the red zone, like here. Yeah. See how it just hopped up there without us even knowing. So it is a sport of feeling, if you will. Kind of get a feel for where it is, where the midpoint is, then you just kind of want to leave it. Unless it gets really dangerous. This seems to be about right here. Pop over and pull all these up. I do highly recommend doing this on joystick though. Having a toggle or a wheel or a switch, an actuator of some kind is incredibly helpful. It's possible that there's one of these on top of us. I'm gonna go hunt down one in the nethersphere. Okay. Just press M, or if you got the button on your joystick to deactivate mining. Alright, this is one of those times that's like, okay, we can get in here. You don't want to do that real slow, because if for some reason you hit it wrong, you're toast. That one wasn't too much of a delta between the ship and the ground. It wasn't too much space. But it was enough to make me a little anxious. We're gonna go for just a couple more minutes here. Rock mining has a big investment period, I would call it. And then I'll do the time calculation off of after we jumped and got to where the general area that we are now. So that'll be when we start the timer, just because everything else you gotta load up, get your ship in, you know. It does take a little bit more time to like go to the mining colony, but I'm trying to have this be as fair as possible. It is possible that you try to do like microtech and get your ship and your vehicle all at the same place, but I'm just gonna guess that that's not most people. Again, I don't worry too much about trying to go to a specific location of a pinged result, because again, most of them will show up only when you get close. So you just kind of want to be clicking it all the time. Big clusters will show up from far away though. But you're seeing this big cluster because it looks like a big cluster of rocks instead of mineable resources. Sometimes if it shows up separately. Okay, see this one though? That's a good sign. Okay, not mining, scanning. And just like trying to punch in coordinates. Alright. Okay, one trick you can use for the ramp is to try to land downhill. I know the urge is usually to land uphill, but if you can land downhill, just a slight downhill, it usually works out a little bit better. That way your ship, instead of being like this with the tailgate out, because it is kind of like a V anyway. You want it to, it's kind of like this. You want it to be, you know, like downhill will land it so the tailgate is, so this would be uphill, for example, if the tailgate was the back part. So uphill, the tailgate is further away. But if it's downhill, I got it, like downhill like this, then it will land like that. So that's, I don't know. It's hard to describe just with using my arms, but it's better, okay? No, I don't want, no. Inner thought is a cool idea, but it is like, can't wait till we have those brain capacitor dealios. And it just knows what I want to do. Sun's getting real low, big guy. I also noticed like this one's like 50, 45. 55, 45 basically for the internal mineral split to inert. It just doesn't matter what it is. If it's really bad or really good, it'll give you like 0.2 more, but you'll notice. I'll just shoot them a little further and you'll lose a little bit. I don't know exactly how that happened because it just kind of suddenly jumped up and we were at a pretty low power rate, but crap happens. I think the other benefit of quant mining is you just don't have to get out. But when it comes to sales, Adnite mining is just a lot easier to make sales. I'll walk you through that imminently. We're about at time, so sun's getting low. I'm getting personally tired in real life. And we've basically got everything we need here, so. My honest takeaways are, if this is something that looks good to you, rock mining isn't the worst way to make money. We'll get into a port and show you how much we made in about this. I bet this is about gonna be 25 to 30 minute stint of mining and selling. Like, one of the downsides here is that when you complete a bounty, it's automatically completed contract. You get the money for it right away. If the server crashes, you don't have like your money that you've made in your storage that is evaporated. It really sucks if like you get a 30k and you're out in the middle of nowhere mining and it spawns you with your rock, but your ship for some reason doesn't spawn. That's fun. I think you can sense my sarcasm. Whereas if you get a 30k in a bounty hunting ship, it's like, okay, whatever, who cares? Not a big change for you. Alright, looks like we got a little far away from this one. Sometimes if I'm really feeling it, I'll go chase it down. This is kind of a fun, it's just gone now though, so. Whoa! You can kill yourself, especially by landing on your top in a rock. Doing third person option works a little bit better. I will say for the other videos, due to like mechanical issues, oh no. Okay, here's what we'll do. I had to shoot them multiple times. This one is like the worst case scenario, is to like get into a gulch or a gully. Not that the atmosphere is a little lighter here, so. Obviously, if you have the option, parking somewhere perfectly flat is the best option, but if you do have a gully, that's not the worst. You can just kind of hop on over to the other side. This might work. Rock better have my money. What I wanted there. Alright, so I am not going to give all of you the like... I'll give you the rundown of how much everything cost. But I'm not going to factor that into the ultimate calculations for a couple of reasons. One, I bought the Vanguard Sentinel, and you could have bought a ROC and another ship like a Cuttie or a Nomad for cheaper. So that's a choice you could have made if this is something that just looks more interesting to you. So I don't want to prejudice like my analysis by my preference of activity, right? So that's why I think it's a little unfair to do that. The other thing too is, let's say this wasn't your favorite activity, but you wanted to do it for a day with one of your buddies. Having somebody who flies around and spots minerals, by the way, where you hop in and out, go get them and extract them, and then they fly your ship back to the base and sell the stuff. Can work out actually pretty well. You can kind of leapfrog each other. You can work on the same stuff together. So buddy mining is actually pretty fun. So yeah, we're gonna go to Norgard just because that's where we were before, so I know exactly what it looks like. The other reason why is because you could, if you wanted to grind it out for 24 hours and do it for all 24 hours and don't sleep for a day, I mean, which is a little bit ridiculous, but just saying. I suppose I would have to divide the cost across the full 24 hours of runs, right? Like I could easily have kept doing this. I don't want to personally. Rock mining is not my favorite. Find it tedious and annoying. Like one of the best things about quant mining is that it will explode, in my opinion. So it gives me a little bit of a rush of like, oh, okay, like the little bit of the adrenaline with the dopamine high of like, okay, I gotta go do that this specific way. Pop on lights here. You can sometimes find the deposits right next to the base. I usually don't recommend that though, because you can get a trespassing fine that is not fun to deal with. But your mileage may vary. Meterage maybe is the... I feel like our lights should be showing up by now, so it's a little weird. Right, you don't have to drive the rock back to anywhere. The only thing you gotta do, okay, lights are working, is just land the ship. I think it does have to be on a landing pad, but basically you're looking for a ship that we need to go find. The right little base dealio. Yeah, it looks like we're going to be looking at probably exactly 30 minutes. This is a much longer video than the other ones. Another thing that you can do, by the way, is just hopefully they're labeled. They're not always labeled. Not storage. Actually, it might be storage. I don't think it is, though. Oh, it is storage. Okay. So you just come up to the trading shipping console. Plug in here. Oh, you have to select your location. So you'll pick your rock. Then you'll just slide over. Oh, you gotta click the Hadanite first, sorry. And this is slightly off. So it looks like we made just over 55,000 in about a half an hour. So not the best way to make money, but you didn't get shot at. It was a totally different way of interacting in the verse. I made back all the money I paid in my upfront investment. So if you just want to try something different to experience it, this is a good way to do it. That's it from me this time. I will be storing the Pembroke suit here. And I don't really care about the Cuttie Black, so I'll be transitioning to a new body. Until next time, though, friends, good luck out there. Have some fun. Fly safe in the verse and keep on gaming. Bye for now.